Hi everyone, welcome to the Halloween Journal Challenge 2024 collaboration, which is hosted by Kia Marie Hunt, and today is day 18. The theme is Harvest Moon, and you'll notice in the background, yes, that's the project that we'll be working on today. So thanks for being here. So just in case this is your first time here, you might want to hit pause and take a look at all the juicy information you see here, including all the prompts for the month of October. And if you like or prefer, you can also go to Kia's Instagram or her website where you can read it in a larger format that's a little bit easier. We're going to start working on our background, and I will preface by saying I've watched dozens of videos, and so this is not a new idea or concept, but I'll explain more later as we get started. I'll have the details of all the supplies in the description box below. So first of all, I'm working on a sheet of paper because at the time of this filming, I was creating a new journal, and I thought, well, I might as well try this new technique to me on one of the sheets of paper. So here I have a 140-pound watercolor piece of paper that's going to fit into my journal. And as you can see, I've got the mask of the moon right there. And I'll say, if you don't or can't get this particular moon mask, you can make one. You can cut a circle or punch a circle on Yupo paper, and I hear that works great. Oh, and I want to point out that I'm working with an ink pad in black soot only because I don't have the spray. So feel free to, use what you have and just experiment and have fun. Okay, so that looks pretty good, and I'm going to put that away. I have all my sprays in the order I'm going to use them. So this again is a personal thing. You don't have to go in a particular order. But as you can see, this is going to be quite a messy process. Underneath, I have 3 layers of paper towels underneath, and that seemed to really help keep everything together. I didn't need to use a box or anything like that. And again, the colors that I'm showing you are also listed, so just take a look and watch how this all comes together. Oh, I have to tell you something. It's a good idea to spray before you begin to spritz water over your entire paper. But this worked in my favor because if I had sprayed it and used the Distress ink pad, it would have smeared all over the place, and I don't think I would have liked that. So anyway, that's just another tip. So I'll be quiet and you can watch how everything comes together. And just remember, when you're working with mica sprays, make sure that you shake them really well. Okay, I know it's a hot mess and it is very saturated. So if you're working in a ready-made journal, you can still do this. Just cover the pages underneath. And what I'm doing now is taking a clean paper towel and I'm just dabbing the edges. Now, again, if you want more drips, you can pick it up and shake it a little bit, but I would wait until you mop up your mask and go around the edges. And having your paper or journal um, with the paper towels there, it's nice to work because you can just turn it and catch everything. I know that when I did this and I was practicing, it took everything in me to not put paper on top so that I could get a double print, because that's not the outcome that I was looking for. So it's kind of hard to break habits. So I'm just sharing that was the case for me. And I'm going around and I'm spritzing water onto areas that don't have as much movement of pigment. And this process goes pretty quickly. And with a paper towel, you will get texture, which is always good to have, in my opinion. But yeah, we're halfway there. So again, this is a personal thing as insofar as how much you want to remove. Now, when it comes to the mask, don't do what I'm doing here. You should really dab rather than swirl your paper around, because you could risk moving your mask even if you have some tape underneath to hold it down. Or I guess there's pixie spray. That's new to me. I've never used it before, but apparently it's an adhesive, temporary adhesive that you can use underneath. I'm using a Sizzix. I've listed it below. I don't have the actual name. So now I'm going to be brave here and I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to cradle it in my hand there and again wipe a little bit more to prevent drips. I flipped over my paper towel and it bows, as you can see, because of all the moisture. It will relax, but you can also help it along with your heat tool or hair dryer. Just go ahead, but avoid hitting your mask with that heat. Okay, so this is just to get the paper flat, and there it goes. So it's nice. I also want to add that if you want to add more spray or more of one color, you can do that at this point. You can keep going. And while I'm thinking about it, you don't have to use a myriad of colors. You could just use 2 colors. It's all up to you. And experimenting and finding what you like. So here I've removed the mask, and it's a pretty good, what am I trying to say? It's a pretty good clean shape there. But what I'm going to do next is really fun, and I just love this part, and that is take your water bottle and just spritz that edge, the edge of the moon, and let that ink run in a little bit. It's really fun. I know for me, I had to stop myself because it was getting a little bit too much. But again, you can get a paper towel and dab it if you need to. So what comes next is to dry this. Again, I like to air dry things, let them dry naturally. And even when it's dry, I think I'm repeating myself, after it's dry and you see that you want to add more of one color, again, go for it. This is water soluble, so just have fun. Just have fun with it. But now what you want to do is, oh, I forgot one thing. So I am using the new spritz Distress Spritz, and it's adding that moon glow. That's really fun. It's also, I think it's mica based as well, so shake it up. And now I'm ready to put it aside and let it dry completely. Let's talk about paper. The first pass was done on Fabriano 90-pound cold press watercolor paper, and while I was happy with the overall result, I realized that the moon was a bit too small for my taste, and that I had accidentally grabbed an oxide spray which resulted in that chalky look. It's not bad, but it just wasn't the look I was going for. Then I tried Strathmore's 100-pound Bristol paper, which is a nice, smooth, and heavy paper. But the minute I applied the pigment, oh my goodness, it just soaked completely through. I didn't mind that the color was on the backside, but once it dried, I noticed that the colors didn't stand out, and it was rather flimsy for my taste. So that was a bust, but again, we can always use this for fodder or collage, so it's all good. So that's when I went ahead and decided to try out the 140-pound watercolor, and I was finally happy with the results. I followed the same technique as earlier with the larger moon, and also added the moon detail with the stencil and using brushed corduroy distress ink. So now you can really see how the mica sprays shine. I mean, it's so beautiful to me. And since the other page is drying, I think we'll go ahead and work on this one. Well, I'm sure you can figure out what happened. For some reason, my camera wasn't recording, and I really apologize, but as you can see here, I took a stencil and added it to this page. I used Payne's Gray, Liquitex Basics, and just a cosmetic sponge. The stencil is 6 by 6 and a bit short, so I grabbed a paintbrush, the wrong paintbrush, by the way, and just added the tree trunks there and just touched it up a little bit. But I'm happy with the way it looks. And I hope you are thinking about how you want your page to look, what elements you'll be using, whether you're collaging or painting over it, or whatever it is that you want to do for your Harvest Moon page. On the following slides, I give you detail about what I am going to use to finish the pages, so I'll let you read through that, and then I'll show you how everything turned out. And here it is. It's all done, and you can see that I've added my focal point. I've added Starlet there, and the tree branch and some words. I'll talk a little bit more about this when I show you what it looks like in the journal, and that's up next. Here's my finished journal, and I really do like the size and the cover. I did a pamphlet stitch and tied it on the outside of the spine because I think I want to add some charms and dangles, but I don't want to add it now because working in the pages, it might just get in the way. And I had this celestial themed paper in my stash, but it's still at Paper Source if you're interested, and I just love it. I'm really happy that I had it and used it for the cover. It's very simple. I don't think I want to add anything more. And let me talk about the inside paper that I use. This is actually vintage wallpaper from the late 50s that I got at an estate sale many, many years ago. I think I have 2 yards left, or two. I've got a good amount of it left, but I just love it. And you can see it's foil, and there's lots of gold, and it's matted, but there's just enough shiny to it as well. It's just beautiful. I used a variety of plain papers for my signature. It's a single signature journal. I have 30 single sides for entries, and that'll cover the entire month. And don't forget, if you find that you run out of pages to work on, you can do tip-ins and pockets. I did have to trim the edges by a 1/4 inch because it was sticking out a little bit, even though I was careful about measuring, so no big deal. But I want to show you that at first I thought she might be too big for the page, and so what I did was I made a photocopy and cut it down just so I could tell if that was the case. And I'm glad I did that ahead of time because I really like her in that size. And to me, it's proportioned. So, you know, whatever you prefer. And that won't go to waste. I'll use it for something else. And there's the little tree branch. And then I want to mention that if you know me, you know I am a big fan of artist and author Sabrina Ward Harrison, and I just love her script. And I know I could write my own, you know, I'm fine with my handwriting. That's not it. There's something about using book text and other sources to put together a sentiment. So that's just me. So I put these words together: listen deep under the stars, and like the moon, be the magic. And that's it. I want to thank you for being here with me, and I hope you enjoyed the process and try it out for yourself. Thanks again to Kae for inviting me to join in again this year. So until then, take care, everyone. Have a good Halloween, and stay creative.